5, 4, 3, 2, 1. CTS PC
Pop culture
P
episode 31.
EP
I just this
31. Do you not like it when I do that?
it just well
Does it
it'd be
give you
fine if it
nightmares?
was like a correct acronym, but every time we do it there's more letters. And I don't know where they're coming.
It's like CTC EP Z943.
It's like every letter.
It's like numbers.
Yeah, it's
what?
like the Terminator. Like
It's just a Roman
the
numerals.
T9000 or whatever.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 31. Today, me and Henry will be... Have you seen those podcasts that are scripted?
Yeah, they're so
They're
bad.
so
I hate them. I
cringe.
hate them so much.
They're like, dude, did you see blah, blah, blah? They're like, yeah, I saw blah, blah, blah. What did you think about it?
It's
So cringe.
so it's like
Well, and
not
it's
a real
just
conversation.
Well, and it's just so obvious. And they're just bad actors, right? Like,
yeah, it's
like
a
no
weird,
one is
it's
going to
weird.
be... No one's going to be good at that type of conversation.
And every single like line has the same inflection, like at the end, and it's
what
like,
did you think of this?
yeah, and it's like that's not how anybody talks when they're just like having a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't like those. Those
I
are the
mean-
ones that are big on TikTok, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's good for bits, right? I mean, like, you could do a good bit. It's good, like, posting just a clip. It would make a
Yeah,
good
it's good
bit.
for not, yeah, not like a comedic bit, but like posting a little clip on TikTok.
Have you noticed? I mean, we should have talked about this on the other podcast, but I feel like on the CTS podcast, the main one, I feel like it's gotten more difficult to talk about stuff since Trump left office. It was fine at the start when like Joe Biden first became president, but now it's gotten more difficult. Like now there's not as much news. There's not as much crazy
it doesn't,
things going on.
yeah, not as much crazy stuff goes on. You have to look a little bit harder.
Because last time it was like every week. Every week is like, oh, this crazy
some
thing
new
happened.
crazy thing happened. And I think if you looked hard like enough, we'd be able to find crazy
Yeah.
stuff every week. But it definitely, when like CNN isn't blasting it,
Yeah.
like in the front page headline every week, definitely gotten more difficult. But what's getting easier to talk about is pop culture stuff as more movies come out. We just saw last night Clifford the Big Red Dog. Wait,
Red Dot. No, that wasn't it.
What was it? Oh, it was
It's
Dune.
Jinx, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
That's-
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I win. Give me that. Okay.
No, Dune.
What's your rating out of 10?
So we not want to talk about it. We can talk about
No,
it from
give it your
two
rating
different
first.
perspectives. My rating, I would probably give it like an 8 or a 9. And that could change depending on how a part 2, a second movie goes. Like if they stick the landing on part 2, it could be like 9 to 10.
Whoa. I think I'd probably give it I think last night I decided on 8.4. So I'm like right in the middle of what you said.
But we both come from like a different perspective, right? Because you haven't read the books. I have. They're right there.
All right.
Up there.
All
Big
right,
Dune fan
cool
here.
guy.
No, just kidding. I read it. I really enjoyed it. But it's definitely... I was thinking about it more today. And it's definitely... Is that all of them up there? Yeah. So the first movie just covers half of that first book.
What if they did them on all the books?
It would get... The books get pretty nuts. Like,
How do you mean?
pretty insane. Like, it would spoil how this first one ends, so I won't say anything, but just like it, like kind of religion and like religious extremism is a big factor in Dune, and like kind of they play into that a lot as you get further, and it gets further and further away from just the like action, like
I think that'd be cool to watch. Though.
Space Wars. Yeah, no, I think it would be cool. I just don't know if it would appeal to a
They could
general
build a
audience
whole,
if you could.
like universe off of it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's those 6. Those are the 6 originals, and then there's like dozens of other books that have been written either by Frank Herbert or by other people.
And they're all canon or what?
it's not quite like it's not like a direct one-to-one comparison with Star Wars. I think they are technically all part of the story, but it's such a big universe that I think for the most part, and it spans such a large period of time, whatever, I think for the most part, like they are technically all like canon, but they aren't really. It's not like in Star Wars where you'd get like the like more stories about Han Solo or like another Luke story after the original trilogy, like in Legends. So I don't know how well it would work, and I've only read the original 6, so I don't know it super well. But yeah, I really enjoyed the movie.
Do we want to get into details on it, or?
We can let's go non-spoiler first, and then we'll like pause a break. I can even do some fancy editing and put a graphic. Click away now to one of our other videos if you don't want spoilers.
It's just another clip.
Please click.
Just a random clip we
Please
chose.
click. Yeah. So I thought I thought it did a good job, coming from a place where I've read the books. I thought it did a good job of following the story. Like, it was true to the story while also not getting bogged down in all of the stuff that trying to adapt from the book to the screen might have bogged it down a little bit. But, and I don't know, you can correct me on this, but from what I've heard, it seemed like it did a decent job of staying interesting for people that hadn't read the book.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting, but I could see, like, towards the end, I was like, okay, this is getting a little bit long. But I was still captivated throughout the whole movie.
It is a weird one because it is very much, it's not like I don't know, like, have you seen the Hobbit movies?
Yeah.
How every Hobbit movie was kind of like a standalone movie with like the story structure where you'd get like 3 acts, and the last act would like there'd be a climax at the end of the 3rd act of each movie, even though technically there wasn't that in the books. This one's very much like directly, like, well, in the middle of the book, you probably wouldn't expect it to like end with this big climactic action scene. Like, it doesn't, like, not like directly in the middle of the book. It hasn't built like up here, like in the structure of a movie, and it stayed very true to that structure. And so it is very much part 1 of 2, and hopefully part 2 gets made.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. I can't imagine this movie doesn't do well. The art theater was packed.
Yeah, that's as busy as I've seen a theater since probably Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the same.
I don't know, and that's before COVID. Not much came out between Rise of Skywalker and COVID, but yeah, that was before COVID, so I haven't seen a theater that crowded. And we've gone to some opening night stuff.
Busier than Black Widow, busier than... What other movie did we go see the other day? Venom.
Venom, yeah, way busier than Venom. And Venom did well.
There was another movie that we went and saw.
We saw Shang-Chi, but that was that weird exclusive premiere access.
I saw it again.
Go check our review.
Have you watched it again?
I've watched it on... No, I haven't watched it again.
Yeah, it was so good.
Did it hold up? Did it hold up on the rewatch?
No. I mean, it didn't hold up on the rewatch, but I think I was just like, I liked the first one so much that it was like, you know, the first one was so shocking, right? But now you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so that's tricky. Yeah, this movie, but Dune, back to Dune, it was, I mean, the cinematography was amazing. Like, it was cool. It was like, just seeing all the different planets and kind of the environments, just like sweeping, gorgeous, like the desert on Arrakis, the oceans and forests of Caladan. It was really cool. The score I liked a lot.
Yeah, I think that would probably win an award. I think it deserves it.
It's hard to know, but it definitely, I think it has a chance at winning some pretty major awards.
Special effects were really good. I liked the scene. My favorite scene actually was right at the beginning where all do they call them Atreyans?
So the main guy,
Is Atreus?
it's House
He's
Atreides.
Atreides, sorry. So
yeah.
what do they call the people?
I think they're
Atreidians?
just
Atreians?
soldiers. So like
They don't have a name.
they're not like, it's not like a race or like a species or something. It's just like they're soldiers for House Atreides.
So there's no citizens. They're under the purview of House Atreides. They're all citizens of the
Yeah,
Imperial?
I guess I don't know because they're like, I don't know what they call them. If they're like if you refer to them by like what planet they're from, or if yeah,
Okay,
I'm
anyways.
not sure. Whatever.
Yeah, thanks for your help with that. I'm just kidding. But seriously, that was so unhelpful. So my favorite shot was towards the beginning when like the king of Atreides, right? Or not the king. What's his name? Not the Baron. He has another name.
So are we getting into spoilers now?
Yeah.
Should we? Okay,
This
we're
is
gonna.
spoiler
Here's a
warning.
pause. I'm gonna put a big red. It's gonna say spoiler on it. It's gonna be really cool.
That's really thank you so much for doing that. No, but hi everyone. Thank you for
Now,
continuing on to the spoiler
We're staying
version
here
of the
now.
podcast.
Spoilers. Boom.
My favorite scene in Dune was when what's his name? There's the
Duke Leto.
Duke of Atreides.
Duke Leto. His last name's Atreides.
Duke Atreides is standing and he has all those soldiers behind him, and then the people, the like men of the Empire come.
Yeah, the Emperor's.
Wait, let me ask you this. So the
Mhm.
witch lady, what's her name?
It's like the Reverend Mother. I don't know if they specifically say a name.
But what's her type of people?
The Bene Gesserit.
The mother of the Bene Gesserit or whatever.
Yeah.
Was she with the guy, the emperor's scribe or guy that held the scribe or whatever?
Yes.
That was her there.
She was with.
What she was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she's I sorry to get off topic. I was just interested. That was my favorite scene. But I was thinking about this last night. The only sort of like beef I had with the movie was the doctor guy. The doctor guy weirded me out. I don't know, like maybe we just didn't learn enough about him, but we didn't learn like when he's talking to Paul, right? Paul is his name.
Yeah.
He's talking to Paul, and before he goes and meets with the mother or whatever, and puts his hand in the box.
Yeah.
He's like giving him advice, and he's like, no disrespect to your mother, but don't trust her. And then like we see this doctor like turn against the king. Yeah,
it's tricky.
Or the duke, I mean.
It's tricky. There's just not enough space in the movie to have everything.
But that's like a big deal, right? I mean, he killed the duke. So
yeah.
That whole sequence seemed. That's the only part of the movie that I thought seemed rushed. Like we see, and I guess it was kind of shock factor.
Yeah, it's definitely rushed in the book like that too.
Oh, really?
Like everything's going pretty well, and then all of a sudden, like everything like breaks. Like you have no warning, and then all of a sudden, like the Duke's dead. They're escaping out of the place. Like that's how it is in the book.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit like you understand there's a little bit of the build up to it with Baron Harkonnen, like Stellan Skarsgård's character. There's a little bit of build up with that, but largely on Arrakis, it's all of a sudden like things are going good, like the relations with the Fremen are good, like they're getting spice production up and running, and then all of a sudden the Harkonnens attack and the Duke's dead and Paul's on the run.
What was the thing that the woman was healing the Duke with, or
Whoa! Oh, Jace just unplugged his mic. Very interesting.
Hello.
There
hello?
we go. We'll cut that out. That was pretty bad.
Okay, thanks. I already feel bad about it.
We're back now.
What was she healing the
I
Baron with?
I don't know that it matters. I think it's
But
just.
you don't. It's not described in the book.
It probably is. I think intent is to have like it's like gross, like that something nasty like that is healing him, like kind of is character development that you're like, oh, this is like a gross dude.
Do we see the empire? Do we see the emperor in the first book?
Yeah,
Is he so we'll see him in the next book
we should.
or in the next movie?
If they stick as faithfully to the
Is he still? He's not still alive, I assume.
who?
Frank Herbert
No, Frank Herbert's not alive.
is like his
anymore.
lineage still alive.
Yeah, his son's still alive. His son like writes books.
Oh, so did he like oversee or
I don't
did
know.
he sell
I don't
all of
know.
the stuff?
He might have just sold the rights. Because this isn't the first attempt at a adaptation.
Well, weird, because like you'd think. I mean, most of the times when you sell the rights to something outright, they usually don't really feel the need to stick to the books too hard. But maybe because so many people have read
I
Dune,
think,
they felt.
and it's such like it's so iconic, just in like this kind of science fiction world, that I think you'd be doing the story like a huge disservice if you varied too greatly. And I think I've seen some interviews with Denis Villeneuve, and he's like super, like a super big fan of Dune himself, like the books. So I think he kind of felt the responsibility to stay very accurate to the books.
Yeah, I thought I really liked how I loved how it was shot. There were so many iconic shots, which was like it almost didn't even feel like a Hollywood action movie. It like wasn't an action movie.
It was almost like a prestige, like if there wasn't like all the big Hollywood name actors and stuff, you could almost pass it off as like a
like an
prestige, like
yeah.
Oscar bait type movie,
yes.
which makes sense because the director has won Best Picture or Best Director.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I thought like all those shots of like the ships in space and they're just like giant was so cool. Like the scale of everything was sweet. I thought they did a good job. Like I coming from a place where I've read the books, like I pictured like a lot of those scenes. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. This is exactly how I pictured the scene while I was reading it. It's cool that it's like that's exactly the same way I pictured it.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they built it to like a Harry Potter level or Star Wars level where it's like a whole universe of it.
Yeah,
kind of interesting.
I think you could. It's such a big there's a lot of cool stuff, and there's stuff they didn't touch on that like is really cool. So there's the spice they talk about and is a big part of the story, but I think they did a good job of showing how important the spice was. You don't think?
I guess. Well, did they? They just told us what the spice does, right? And that's why it's important. But they didn't really go into detail about, why this substance powers these ships or why it's.
Yeah. So and that's intentional, right? Like you don't know why it does what it does until later in the book. So, like that's intentional, but you get an idea that the spice is important. But there's some cool stuff, like the pilots of the ships are like they use the spice to navigate the Bene Gesserit. I can't remember exactly now.
Yeah, they do. They
use the spice.
Hallucinogenic, it said.
Yeah, everybody like it's just super important. But yeah, I really liked it. I enjoyed it a ton.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Like I said, I think my only criticism was the length. My biggest criticism, rather, was just like the length of it. I felt a little long, but I thought it was really interesting. I was captivated the whole time. So I think they could have probably taken out the scene where that ship gets engulfed by the worm, but it helped see how big the worm was. So I thought that was kind of.
It also, that's a big scene in the book, where showing there's the ecologist, like Kynes.
Mm-hmm.
She interacts with the Fremen, And so basically, and they actually didn't do a great job of kind of explaining this, but because the Duke goes down and risks his own life to save those men, it basically shows the Fremen that he's different than the Harkonnens.
Were the Fremen part of what was on the ship? Were there Fremen on the...
No, but that the kind,
ecologist.
yeah, she is Fremen, and so she is, or at least like interacts with the Fremen, and so it kind of, that's kind of the point, and they explain that a little bit better in the book. Like I think they come out and explicitly say, like, you saving those men showed that you're a good person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the worms were cool. Like it was pretty sweet the way they did
cool.
it.
Yeah, they were cool. They were so much bigger than I thought they would be. Because I think even in the thing, it was like, what it is, how big, when Paul is first like learning about him, I think it said they were like, what,
Like
400 feet
meters
long, 400 meters long.
Yeah.
So I guess 1,200 feet, which is like a quarter mile.
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
It was cool when all this sand starts like shaking and you just see everything starts falling in. Yeah. No, I thought those were sweet. What else? Did you have any other standout moments or anything?
No, I thought the coolest like people were the Baron's men.
The Sardaukar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Batista had a cool character.
Yeah. Yeah, Batista's cool.
When he stands up, when like the Baron first stands up, and he just...
Yeah, there's a little bit in the books there. You have a little bit more time to like delve into that, so you learn a little bit more about all the different, like all the different people. So everybody that you kind of just meet in passing in this movie has like a backstory, and you interact with them a lot more. But it's like Duncan Idaho, Jason Momoa's character. I did think it was pretty impressive, or like gutsy, that they had all those like A-list actors and stuff in all those roles that like, and they all just die like really quickly with pretty small, like relatively small roles in it. And
we'll see what big actors are in the next one too.
Oh, I'm sure. There's not a ton of added characters in the second half, but
you know what else I really liked?
What?
When Paul at the end is fighting that guy, one of the Fremen,
Mm-hmm.
and like just like instantly rolls him, and he's like, "Do you concede? And then like he keeps fighting, and he does it again, and he does it again. He's like, he's toying with him. I thought that was cool, and then he finally just kills him.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I thought they did it. What were you gonna say?
I have one more critique.
Mm-hmm.
The bracelets had to have been explained. They should have explained something about the bracelets that they turn on, and it's like this shield. I thought that like there was zero explanation on that, and those should have been explained, because no one that hasn't read the books has any idea what those are or what they do. I mean, we know what they do, but I have no idea how they do it. I have no idea why they do it. Or, like, where did they get these? Like, that's a pretty big part of the movie, is that these people that are fighting, like these groups that are fighting, have these bracelets that are put on like a protective shield.
Just that it's armor.
Well, it's not even armor, right? It's like a shield that like it turns yellow sometimes when you hit them, and it's like it's like a semi-lethal strike, and then it's green when it's a non-lethal strike, and red when it's a totally lethal strike.
It's one of those things that I think if you went back and rewatched the movie, it's a super dense movie. They do explain it in the scene where they're first, when Paul and Gurney are fighting or dueling. He kind of like, there's some exposition there about how they work.
Is there?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Are you positive? Because I don't think there was any exposition on them talking about how the bracelets work.
Because he talks about how like you have to slow down, like only a slow strike will get through the shield.
I'm
positive.
I'm like almost positive that they don't say anything.
Because it's the first time that Gurney like breaks through Paul's defenses and gets through his shield and has the sword up to his throat.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's explained that it has to be a slow strike. I don't know if that's something that's said.
Yeah, I think it is. But it is definitely, it's one that I think has a lot of rewatchability. Because every time you watch it through, I think you'll pick up on more and more stuff. And I also think it does a good job of probably not suggesting, but I think you definitely pick up a lot of stuff if you've read the books too, which I'm glad they did that and didn't just totally dumb it down to like kind of as easy as mass appeal.
Do you think this will be better than Eternals?
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
Just I also think I have a bigger connection to the source material. Like
Then Star Wars?
What? You said, is this going to be
better
Marvel?
I'm sorry, shut up.
Eternals.
I got it confused.
Specifically the Eternals.
Yeah.
Like, and from what I've heard about Eternals is it's not really connected to like the MCU. Like it's pretty separate because that comes out like next Friday, I think.
Sure?
Maybe the week after that. It's November 5th. So whenever that falls is when it comes out. But yeah, pretty exciting. But yeah, so Dune, I said 8 or 9. You said 8.4.
Yeah.
Both looking forward to a second installment, I think.
Yeah. Should be cool.
Okay.
What is the highest rating that we've given to a show or a movie since
I have no idea. I can't keep track of your ratings.
What?
I don't, because I can't.
I stay consistent.
I don't know. It's just they're so precise. Like I give it a 7.3. But I can, so I can
we should start keeping track.
I can go off
that way
of.
We can go back and look.
Off of I can go off of like what you said about the movie, or show or whatever.
I think it's Shang-Chi is my top. I thought Shang-Chi is better than this.
Really?
I thought this was way better than like Black Widow, Venom.
Yeah, I would probably put this above Shang-Chi. But I was also
give Shang-Chi like a 9?
I don't know.
You're very liberal with your ratings. Okay, here's one thing about you. You are a very very happy to only look at the good sides of something and only rate a movie on the good sides of something, but you're less happy to like dive into what was wrong with the movie, which is good, and I'm sort of the same way. I'm not like a critic.
I think it depends on the criticism though. Like there's some stuff like with Dune, not you specifically, but I saw somebody talking about Dune today and they were like, yeah, it wasn't very good because they didn't explain like this specific thing. And then someone replied underneath and they said, well, they didn't, like in the book they explain it, and like this is the reason. And the person that was originally criticizing it was like, well, why didn't they put that in the movie then? It's like, because in the book it gets explained in the second half of the book. And this was a movie about the first half. So it depends on the criticism. But I don't know. I don't like giving number ratings to movies.
Why?
Because it can mean so many different things. Like one person's 7 is like another person's 9. One person's 4 is another person's like could be somebody.
That's what I'm saying. I think because you're so liberal with your ratings, when a movie gets like an 8.2, it's really probably a 7 for me. Or when a movie gets like a 9, it's probably an 8 for me.
Yeah, I don't know. You want to wrap this one up?
Yep.
Okay.
CTSPC EP 31. Rolled. You can't even unlock your computer. This is